Hello everyone, Mark from the Christ Church video team with you again today. As I was recently reading, I came across a phrase from an African pastor, and it inspired me. It stated the following, quote, "Communications frustrates the devil," end quote. At first I thought nothing about it, but then began to think how each communication would frustrate the devil. So I was drawn back to read more, and as I began to read, I began to see vast areas of concern from that statement open up before me. It went on to state, quote, "When we don't talk to each other about what's bothering us, the enemy, parentheses, the devil, in parentheses, manipulates the situation using our thoughts and silence," end quote. That caused me to remember how Pastor Tim and Dave Samples in the men's boot camp Sunday school class have encouraged us to form small groups to share our concerns. But to me, this went a little deeper. In fact, I was encouraged by a movie that I watched with my family in Chillicothe by the name of The Forge. And The Forge was about discipling. And discipling was more than just a small group. It was a commitment for at least a year, maybe a year and a half or more. And I'm not going to spoil the whole thing. I will give you more details on The Forge later. But that will be your assignment at the end of this video, is to go see The Forge. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised and challenged. So anyhow, back to support from others. Others can assist us in our daily journey of life. Yet how often do we tell ourselves, "I don't need others"? I fall for the trap of remaining alone and silent, which can allow our thoughts to be manipulated by the enemy rather than joining with other believers to find support, love, and comfort. It also reminded me that through our silence, we often allow evil things to prevail just because we don't speak up. Or how about in our families, when rather than talking, we create, through our own silent scenarios, things that aren't factual, but being encouraged to be by the one who wants to destroy us, our enemy, Satan. And not only us, but our families, our children, and our relationships with our spouses. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 17 says, "Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another." How does this sharpening occur? Through contact with one another, not in silence. Another Sunday school class that you may be interested in is God's Gals. It's a Sunday school class that occurs at the same time as Dave Samples' boot camp. And they're both located down at the end of the hallway from the office. You might want to try one or the other, because not only does iron sharpen iron for men, but iron sharpens iron for women. Because through contact with one another, not in silence, by discipling, we become stronger. 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 11 says, "Therefore encourage one another and build one another up." Well, how do you build people up? Well, in The Forge again, there was a thought that was left with a disciple twice a week for a year and a half. Different thought each time. That's how we mentor or disciple others to become men and women of Christ. All of these scriptures speak of being in communication with others, sharing our experiences, our ups and our downs. And yes, we need to be mindful that in order to have true communications, we need to form trusting relationships within our small groups. And that's sometimes hard. That's where I can see the discipling a whole lot more valuable, because you do build a trust over a year or more. We need to realize that confidentiality is not vital only for our friends, but also for ourselves. To have the faith not only to trust, but also to obey God's word on how we can overcome our trials with the support of His word and others who encourage and strengthen us. So again, your assignment this week, if you want to be challenged, whether you're a man or a woman, is to go see the forge. God bless.